Let's keep it going with the loop.
Hello, I'm going to tell a story about something that I regret that I did when I was a teenager. You know, and I regret like my entire adolescence. But this is one thing that I regret that I did. One thing that I remember about being a teenager is like never having a lot to do, because I didn't have any money. None of my friends had any money. We didn't have a car or anything. You know, you couldn't go out and drink or, you know, unless you got somebody else to get you beer. You know, but you couldn't go to the bar or anything like that, right? So we didn't have a lot to do. My friend, who was a year older than us, he was in the same grade as us, but he was a year older. When he turned 16, you know, he started driving, and we were able to drive around, and you know, it was something that we could do. And so we would drive around with him, and we would do that. And that like would basically just drive around and get into trouble and things like that, you know. And he drove this white minivan. That, you know, was his parents' car that we called the Soulmobile because we used to be big fans of James Brown, and I had like this tape that I bought from you know, Pathmark, like the discount thing, and we would just put this tape in and just like listen to it on a loop, right? So we would drive around listening to James Brown and getting into trouble and stuff like that, and that was entertaining for us. That's the kind of kids we were, I guess. So, I mean, that might be shocking that we weren't that popular after you heard that. So, in fact, we were frequently like the objects of derision, you know, and sometimes even the objects of derision from, you know, our females classmates too. So there was this one, you know, this one girl I remember that used to, you know, say stuff to everybody on the way home. You know, we would talk trash and everything, stuff like that. So she'll become important into the story later. So we were driving around one night, and we were listening to James Brown and stuff like that. And we decided, for some reason, I don't remember, we stole this, like one of those orange traffic cones. You know, those orange plastic things. So we had that, and we figured we would play some kind of prank with it. And we saw this girl that, you know, we knew, this girl that used to, you know, make fun of us sometimes. That we knew she was a friend of ours. We knew her brother, kind of. And we decided, oh, we're gonna play a prank on her. So I was riding shotgun, so it was up to me to execute this prank. So we came up with what we were gonna do. And we pulled up next to her, and this is the part that I kind of regret a little bit. You know, because I said, hey, how's it going? And she actually looked kind of like glad to see us. And then, you know, and I thought, oh, man, now I have to go through with this ludicrous plan that we came up with. So I said, hey, and I was, you know, and I said, I said, you know, do you want to suck my cone? That's what we came up with. And she said, yeah, it was like the height of wit. So, do you want to suck my cone? That's what we came up with. And she was like, what? And then, you know, the door to this van, we pulled it open, and, you know, my friends kicked the traffic cone at her, and we drove around the way laughing, right? So that way it was an awful thing. And we might have come around again and called her a honky or something like that. So now this girl was, the part that I left out was that she was the daughter of a police inspector. And so one thing that you shouldn't do is sexually harass a policeman's daughter, because he launched like this investigation, and he was able to identify all of us. And it was a few days later, I remember I was in the basement, I was watching movies with my brother. We were watching like The Evil Dead, I think. And I heard my mother like, oh my God, up there. And then she screamed down the basement, you perverts! And I honestly didn't know what she was referring to. So I came upstairs and I said, what's wrong? And she said, did you tell the police chief's daughter to lick your cone? And I said, no. Because I didn't say lick my cone. I said, do you want to suck my cone? Which I thought, and maybe wrongly, that was a lot less filthier than lick your cone. It just lick your cone seemed perverted, though it made sense because it seems to refer to licking an ice cream cone. But I said, no. And, you know, so she said, this man called me and said that you did this. And she said, don't tell your father. And, of course, I didn't. And, you know, all of my friends who were involved, they all got into trouble for it. And I got away with it. But I had to live with the shame, of course, later. So that's a story about something that I regret when I was a teenager.